Psychological analysis of relationships with narcissistic personalities. 1. The concept of love from a narcissistic perspective. Clinically, the narcissistic personality is often associated with deficits in affective empathy. Consequently, their conceptualization of love may become functionally linked to the extent to which their own emotional and psychological needs are satisfied. Functional distinction. The narcissist's attachment is often rooted in need rather than mutual emotional reciprocity. The relationship may be managed as a means of achieving internal psychological equilibrium through what is commonly referred to as narcissistic supply. Relational dynamics. These relationships are frequently characterized by emotional asymmetry, where the partner's emotional and material resources are heavily utilized to reinforce the narcissist's self-image. The idealization phase. During the initial stages, the narcissist may engage in love bombing, an intense display of affection and attention. This behavior is often interpreted as an attempt to secure emotional dependency rather than a stable expression of genuine intimacy. Personal boundaries. When a partner establishes boundaries, the narcissist may experience this as a narcissistic injury, potentially triggering defensive reactions such as anger, manipulation, withdrawal, or attempts to reassert control. 2. Post-separation behavioral patterns. A narcissist's reaction to a breakup is often less connected to emotional loss and more associated with abandonment anxiety, loss of control, and damage to self-image. Common patterns may include compensatory hyperperformance, attempts to project an image of success, happiness, or emotional superiority after the breakup, particularly through social media. This may function as a defense mechanism to restore a threatened self-image. Hoovering, repeated attempts to reconnect with the former partner through promises of change, emotional appeals, or renewed affection. The primary goal may be the restoration of influence and emotional control rather than genuine reconciliation. Triangulation, involving third parties such as friends or family members, to pressure the former partner or communicate indirect emotional messages. Smear campaigns. If reconciliation becomes unlikely, the narcissist may resort to projection, attributing their own behaviors or flaws to the partner, and attempting to damage the partner's reputation in order to preserve their public image. 3. Psychological motivations for reconciliation attempts. The narcissist's desire to resume a relationship is often linked to several underlying psychological mechanisms. Depletion of alternative supply. Returning may occur when the narcissist fails to secure another source of emotional validation comparable to the previous partner. Intolerance of rejection. Rejection can represent a significant threat to the narcissist's sense of superiority or self-worth. Re-engagement may serve as an attempt to re-establish validation and influence. Chronic emptiness. Many individuals with narcissistic traits experience persistent feelings of inner emptiness, which can drive them to return to psychologically familiar or emotionally accessible relationships. Conclusion and clinical recommendations for recovery. Recovery from narcissistic attachment often requires breaking what psychologists describe as a trauma bond. Important recovery steps include cognitive awareness, understanding that the narcissist's behavior is rooted in maladaptive personality structures rather than the partner's value or worth. Implementing no contact. In many cases, limiting or ending communication is considered one of the most effective strategies for protecting emotional stability and reducing manipulation. Self-reconstruction, focusing on healing emotional trauma resulting from prolonged psychological stress, including symptoms associated with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, C-PTSD. Behavioral assessment. Recovery experts emphasize evaluating consistent behavior rather than relying solely on verbal promises. Significant personality change generally requires long-term, specialized psychotherapy and sustained self-awareness.